Ladies and gentlemen, the minister.
Mesdames et messieurs, le ministre.
Good morning. Yesterday, my office issued a press release around the world concerning the arrest of music mogul Sean P. Diddy Combs by American law enforcement agents. Today, I want to read that statement as well as speak directly to you about our call for systematic reform and transformation of the American penal system. For immediate release concerning the arrest of music icon Sean Diddy Combs, a call for fairness, justice, and systematic change. As we confront the news of Sean Diddy Combs' arrest on charges of sex trafficking by the United States government, we cannot ignore the larger, dire, systematic issue facing African Americans today. In the United States today, there are more African Americans in some phase of the penal system, whether incarcerated, on probation, or on parole, than were enslaved 150 years ago. This does not include the millions more who were formerly in the system and still dealing with the collateral consequences, in some instances, decades after so-called release. This stark reality, we believe, must be addressed, despite the temptation to get myopically focused on the details of each case that may be public fodder for the day. We wrestle not against personas and individuals, flesh and blood, but against systems and diabolical agendas at the highest levels of power. We are asking for three things as Mr. Combs' case moves forward. One, presumption of innocence. In America, the legal system is said to be founded on the principle that individuals are innocent until proven guilty. We are asking the public to uphold this principle and to let the judicial process run its course before reaching a conclusion. In many countries around the world, charges cannot even be released publicly until a person has been proven guilty first for fear of prejudicing the process, a change which we are advocating for in America. Second, media responsibility. We call on the media to refrain from perpetuating the worst version of the narrative, a tendency that too often aligns with the portrayal of Black men in leadership and influence. The American media is often speaking about the need for protecting children. So let's remember that this man is a father to many children, some of whom are still minors, and to lead with that foot when reporting on this case. Third, equal treatment and protection under the law. We urge U.S. prosecutors to treat Sean Combs with fairness under the law, or better yet, as they would any major Hollywood star or someone from a wealthy, privileged background similarly accused, such as, let's say, third-generation Hollywood actor and subject of a recent Netflix program who's been accused of far worse by far more people, or lead singer of the iconic 90s boy band Backstreet Boys, who has had an entire television series recently released detailing dozens of serious and disturbing allegations. Yet, to date, no jurisdiction in any of the 50 U.S. states has elected to bring any charges against either person. Which brings me to a larger point. In the American system, prosecutors can unilaterally decide who to charge, what to charge, when to charge, and how severely to charge them. Not to mention what information gets sealed, what information gets released, and what narrative is told in the public forum and is attached to a person's digital footprint. Judges only come in at the very last act of a delicately choreographed play. Prosecutors can bring a case, any case, without sufficient evidence, knowing the charges themselves and the public discussion around it will often create the irrevocable harm they seek for, or for personal reasons or biases or affiliations, elect not to bring a case at all, regardless of how many law enforcement bodies have made arrests or investigations concerning the subject. This too needs to change. Mr. Combs' case highlights the dire need for a broader conversation about the U.S. criminal penal system, particularly its tactics, strategies, and true overall intention and agenda. Our office is committed to advocating for a holistic transformation of the American penal system, a system that disproportionately targets communities of color, deals the harshest punishments to people of color, and overlooks the humanity of those it seeks to punish. On a humanitarian and international level, we remain steadfast in our work to bring healing and transformation to communities affected by the systematic injustices in America and abroad. In service to humanity, by the grace of God, Minister Darrell J. Bennett. Now I want to speak directly to you. I want to start by saying we don't have a side in this matter. We have a cause. There's a difference. I neither know Mr. Combs nor desire to know him. What I do know is that government overreach and the perpetuation of a war of aggression by the U.S. government against people of color has been happening in the United States since its inception. This needs to change. I also want to be clear about the fact that we are not here to speak against a system. There's a spiritual philosophy that teaches us that you cannot fight fire with fire. So we are not positioning ourselves to be against anything. We are for the deliverance of our people. We are for justice, the justice that the U.S. Constitution says is afforded to every person. We are for equal human rights for all people. We are for systematic transformation that will make not only America a better place, but the world a better place. To that end, we invite anyone who is an ally or a champion of justice or human rights advocacy work to join us in this effort. We believe that there are people who are power brokers within the system who see that it is broken. We don't want to alienate them. We know that there are many people who seek for change. We also know that we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities at the highest levels of power. No one person is bigger than the system. And so our desire is not just to help persons, but to help a people. There is a straight line from Willie Lynch to Jim Crow to the system of mass incarceration in the United States of America. It is an indisputable fact that while the United States has less than 3% of the world's population, it has more than 25% of the world's incarcerated population. And arrests have not changed things. Over the past 30 years in America, the prison population system has tripled. Yet with more arrests, there's more crime. There's worse crime. There's shootings in schools. There is a level of rage and violence and viciousness and nastiness that has boomeranged back on itself. We believe that the systematic change we seek is not just a change of law or policy or a penal system. It is a change in mindset. It is a change in the way that we deal and show up in the world. This change we seek, we do believe shall happen. I leave you with the words of Martin Luther, the reformer. Here I stand. I can do no other. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Merci d'avoir écouté.